Hello everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. My name is Jennifer and I wanted to share my story with you. I am 40 years old. I was just recently diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and that was April of last year. My world has changed. It has turned upside down. I still can't believe that I am now a person that has heart failure. And I just wanted to start my video or start my channel to raise awareness to everyone that having congestive heart failure is not just for the elderly. It does happen. It can happen to anyone. So, just a little bit about my story. Last year, my life was going for the better. At the beginning of last year, I got a new job. I was super excited. Um, couldn't wait to start the new journey, start 2025 strong. But what was lingered in the background was the fact that I was sick. I kept having heart pain or having chest pain, excuse me. I kept having chest pains. It was hard for me to breathe. And I just kept pushing it off. This has been happening for years. And I'm just thinking, oh, it's a cold. I'll probably have bronchitis. I'll be all right. I'm so used to working and being a workaholic that I don't even take time sometimes to realize my health is important. And in order for me to, be there for my work or be there for my family, I have to take care of myself. And I wasn't taking care of myself. I could start off to say that. But going back to the story, I had a chronic cough. I was hacking. I had really bad chest pains. It was to the point where I couldn't sleep. I was getting up in the middle of the night. I was hacking up this yellow flam gunk stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, I got bronchitis. Gosh, I've been through this party before. I'm a smoker. I was a smoker. So, I'm just thinking it's bronchitis, you know. Um, like I said, I had started a new job. I had to call off work that day, and I'm just because I couldn't breathe, and I had to go to the hospital. I went to the ER, so I had my partner drive me to the ER. We sat in the ER, and I was just pacing, just was hoping, hey, they're gonna give me some medication. I'll get over this cold. This is nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. I, you know, I get in the back. They perform an echocardiogram. It's also called a EKG, um, that measures the rhythm of your heart. Then I was notified by the ER doc that they wanted to. They asked if they can admit me, and I was a little concerned on that. I'm just like, for bronchitis, really? Like, I'm still thinking it's bronchitis. I don't know why. just just in denial, I guess. Um, I'm just like, why do you need to admit me for, what's the reason for me having to be admitted? And the doctor is just like, oh, we just want to run some tests. We're not sure completely what's going on. We did have a irregular EKG for you. We just want to rule out that it's nothing serious. We just want to take precautions. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? Just better safe than sorry. I reached out to my provider and just told him the situation. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to be admitted. Uh, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. So, story forward, I stayed about a week in the hospital. They ran a series of tests on me. I went and had a chest X-ray done. Um, they had me on the monitor. They were doing various different things with me the first couple of days. They had me taking certain medications, all that. And then they had ordered an MRI of the chest. So the X-ray of the chest did show irregular issues with the heart. So they wanted to dig a little deeper and order an MRI for me. So when they ordered the MRI, it told them exactly what they needed to know. So they found out that my heart wasn't pumping correctly, or wasn't pumping efficient like it's supposed to. Um, and what they measured that is based off of what they call an ejection fraction. So they measured my ejection fraction to be about between 20 to 25%. And based off of that information, they diagnosed me with congestive heart failure. So when the doctor came in and gave me my results and said, hey, you have congestive heart failure, I had no clue what that meant. All I heard was the failure part. And I'm like, what does that mean? Failure. Are you telling me that my heart is failing? Like, what's going on? So they basically said, it's not failing. It's not pumping correctly. So they told me that my heart is pumping not enough blood throughout my body for my body to regulate itself, or to function properly. So I'm trying to find the right words. So they say your body's only pumping 20% of your blood throughout your body. So you're retaining fluid. There's a lot of things, and this is causing issues because you're not pumping enough blood to function or have your body function properly. And I just hit the floor. I literally broke down. And I'm like, what do you want me? What does this mean? How do I, how do we fix it? What does this mean? Like, is this something that it'll get better on its own? Like, we're glad we caught it and we can move on? Or what does this mean, doctor? And the doctor um, basically told me that the type of condition that I have, it's irreversible. It'll always be there. But I can manage my symptoms. I can keep it from progressing to more serious situation, or more severe or serious stage with medications and lifestyle changes. So when the doctor left the room, I like broke down. I was by myself. I broke down, and it was like, what did I do to myself? How did I get to this point? Why am I here? What did I mess up on? What did I miss? I had to go through that. And it was hard. It was hard for me to go through that. So they put me on all types of medications. To name a few, I'm on Farxiga, I'm on Entresto, I'm on Metoprolol, I'm on Atorvastatin. I'm on all these different medications to help regulate my heart, or help keep my heart as healthy as it needs to be. They had me tested on different medications. They were trying dosages out with me and giving me water pills so I can take the fluid off of my lungs. There was a lot of, and that's another thing, there was a lot of fluid in my lungs when I went into the ER. A lot. To the point, that's the reason why I was gasping for air and I couldn't breathe, and it was hard. It was all that fluid that was built up because my heart wasn't pumping correctly. It was pumping fluid into my lungs. Um, so, you know, that's something that I'm just like, oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, knowing me, the type of person I am, I like to Google things. I like to look things up. I like to, be knowledgeable. I've been in healthcare for a long time as far as my professional career. So, I'm looking up congestive heart failure, and I'm trying to put together the pieces so I can get myself an understanding of what I need to do to keep myself living. And when I did that, it was extremely hard. I literally fell apart because Dr. Google told me that this is something that people don't live to see past 5 years. And it's, you know, but what Dr. Google fails to realize is it just depends on the situation, depends on the age, all that plays factor to how long you're able to live with this. What I was reading online with different people and their situations, there's people that have been living 30 years, was born with congestive heart failure or was in heart failure status as a very young child, and they're living adults right now still dealing with this. This is prior to a heart transplant, but they're just living with it. They're taking their meds, they're doing lifestyle changes, they're doing whatever they can so they can live a longer life. And that's, you know, I had to do the research. I had to do the research because basically just Googling just had me just thinking it was my life was over. But it's not. If I take my medications, if I do the things I need to do to make sure that I'm taking good care of my body and I'm putting in the work, I can have a long, sustainable life, just like anybody else. Just a little bit more of a cautious kind of thing now. But I just kind of wanted to share my story because it's super hard to feel like you're alone and you don't have nobody else and nobody else understands what's going on with you. I looked for someone out there to help me explain what help to get me to understand, excuse me, what's going on. Why is this happening to me? It's something that I just kind of wanted to be out there for others because this is just not a disease for the elderly. It can happen to anyone. You could be born with it. You could have it could be hereditary, or it could be based on your lifestyle. If you're into hard drugs, or you're abusive to alcohol, it can definitely you can definitely cause yourself to go into heart failure. But with my particular situation, we still we still trying to figure it out. I wasn't big on drugs, so that wasn't applicable to me whatsoever. I wasn't born with it. I mean, when it comes down to it, it was what we're thinking. It had something to do with my uncontrolled hypertension because, yes, I had hypertension. No, I wasn't taking my meds like I was supposed to. You know, when I remember, I would take it, but I wasn't taking it on a regular, consistent way. And it was uncontrolled. And that could be a long contributing factor to why I have heart failure now. And then we're also thinking it's, based off of my family history, hereditary, because my grandfather um, had congestive heart or was recently diagnosed with congestive heart failure prior to him passing away, but he passed away with something else outside of his congestive heart failure. So that his CHF, his heart failure was not the contributing cause of his death, but he did have it before he passed. I just kind of wanted to be there for others and just share my story with others. I appreciate you being on, being on my channel and watching my videos. And I just, would like to take this trip with everybody. I would like to share my story with everybody and let everybody know that you're not alone. You know, we all can get through this. Thank you. Bye.